Ladies and gentlemen, I call this meeting of the General Government and Public Safety Committee to order. Attendance is taken. You would rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Comments from citizens? Having none, we move on. Public Safety, Police Department Activity Report. That information is in your packet.
While you're looking at that, I'd like to thank Dave again for all his computer work over there at the police department. It's really,
It's so quiet.
I couldn't agree more. So, for the record, thank you.
It is certainly my pleasure. Budget request.
Just today, in the packet, a rough draft of the budget was sent out. We really haven't had a whole lot of time to look at it. I think, and I'll just say this at this point, that we usually have a fourth meeting in March to approve the edits to the budget, or the edits to the last year's budget. I think it's quite possible that it will be, there'll be some, we may need to actually adopt the budget on the 28th because we finally had our first meeting with the union today. There's some proposals that they're going to want us to review. We're going to meet again on Friday, but it just really isn't it's not a lot of time to turn around and get everything into the budget and to you. Part of the reason was that their union representative has had some extended leave for personal reasons, so we normally would have met in February, and that was impossible, right? Unless we used somebody who wasn't as familiar with our city.
So you're thinking on the 28th?
Yeah, so that we'd actually probably have a couple of different items on the 28th. It still wouldn't be a long meeting, but
sure.
Yeah. But we'll have public hearing on the budget next week. The full packet, it'll be out for discussion at that point. And that'll give you another week for questions or comments.
Understood. Any questions or comments about the activity report? Moving on to other. Any other for this department?
Pretty content.
You'll see it.
I don't know that I'm up for a big argument about it at the time. We have in front of the police department for the chief's use, new Chevrolet. I went back and forth on that. It was delivered today while I was burning brush. We have a 2016 Chevrolet Cruze. It's a lease vehicle. It's through Chevrolet via or Chevrolet. I don't know that I understand all that I think I know about it, but okay, fine. I said no at first. Yes, no, and today it was delivered. Okay. If the local Chevrolet dealership is white in color, you're welcome to look at it. I appreciate you not touching its fingerprints. But, okay. It's ours for 2 years. To meet, there is a mileage restriction. I can't, do you remember what I told you?
20,000, I think.
20,000 is like yours. 20,000 in 2 years. I'll be way under that if I go without my business. I haven't connected all the dots yet, but one, it's a grand gesture on the part of our local Chevrolet dealership. I inquired when he first brought this up a month ago. I said to him, so what do I owe this grand gesture? Nothing. Said, work. Right here. It's a program through General Motors, it's to do a community thing. You go about your business. Okay. Light color, I first understood it was red, but it's white. I don't know if I'm smart enough to drive a 2016 car. It certainly has a lot of displays on it. I don't know. I'll probably end up selling an existing car from the fleet. My thinking is, I could be talked out of this, but my thinking is, I'll sell that 2007 Chevrolet, the white car. We spent some money on it, got it back right. Might be time to sell it. We have, you could argue either way. I'm not sure, listen, but you could argue either way that the old Crown Vic that we have out front, 2007, bought long before I got here. We have parts for it now, that old car. It needs some paint work, but it's not a Bentley, it's a police car. So that's what my thinking is. I don't know if it's right or wrong. I think it's a grand gesture on the part of the dealership. There you have it.
Does it have the signs on it?
No,
Yeah, because there's no advertising at all on there, is there?
correct, there is not.
It's just not like, please come to Fort Chevrolet, humongous letters.
No,
Is
that was one of my hang-ups
Is that
about
yet
it.
to come?
Huh?
You think that you have to come, or?
No. He delivered it today.
So, but it doesn't have the police package on it, it's just,
It does not have a police package, nor would I allow it to be used.
in pursuit or something.
and no.
More for administrative
This
type
is-
stuff.
I got the car by default, which is another story. But one of the reasons why I got the car was, I'm not afraid of soap and water at a car wash. It's one of the things I do, stay out of the tavern, I can go to the car wash. It is what it is. So now we have a new 2016 Chevrolet Cruze, right? Okay, and I'll probably I'll think about selling that white Chevrolet car. It's 2007. We spent some money on it. It's a nice car. But that's where we are. The lease runs out in 2 years. I'll worry about in 2 years if I'm still working, what I do with it then. Might not be my problem, but I worry about it then.
Okay.
That's where we are.
Any questions, comments, anything else for the police department? Right, moving on to fire department, activity reports in your packet. Any questions or comments?
Jenny was making a gesture, I was kind of trying to respond. It's good life skill.
The gesture.
He's pointing out that Terry was here, I think.
Yes.
Exactly.
I guess the fire truck is being built
Yeah, he come back in, last Wednesday, I think. There's a website you all can get on and watch it being built if you get bored.
Stage.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, you got the email too.
Okay.
Yeah, you got the email.
It's pretty boring right now.
Yeah, it looks like a big freaking base.
Aluminum box is all that's there.
It's a while though.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's kind of, so I mean, he said it'll start getting quicker and quicker once things get going. He didn't give me a time or anything.
As more and more checks get written.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably really dumb. They're just taking photographs of this KFC.
Yeah.
Anxious.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So other than that, it's the same old game at the fire station.
Well, actually, they've been already paid. We're paying
Yeah.
US Bank.
What's a KED board?
That's, say if you were crashed inside your car and setting up in front of your steering wheel and stuff, they can put this, it's like a backboard, but it's a board that'll slide in behind you at that seat, between your seat and yourself, and strap you onto it,
Oh.
and lift you out that way. Instead of moving, you're laying it down on a flat backboard or something like that, if they think something's,
Didn't NASCAR invent that?
I think so.
I just like got training for it. So.
That's nothing but really a short, it's probably about that tall, but it'll slide right down, it's got Velcro things that wrap all around real tight and buckle up.
Huh.
You can pick them up out of there without moving her neck and her back and.
It's a hook to it, an airplane comes along, it's
All right, yeah, I'm sure that's part of his training. Budget requests.
Yeah, there's nothing out of the ordinary for next year. They have two new firefighters coming on, and I think everything that you requested is pretty much within the same. There's a small increase but basically they do have a couple of new firefighters coming on, but we have plenty of money even in this year's budget to outfit them, let alone next year's. So good. There's no the pagers. I think we decided we can cover the cost. I think some of them have already been replaced this year. Didn't a couple get replaced? I thought I saw a bill for one.
Batteries, I mean, we've
Oh,
been
batteries.
buying some batteries. 'Cause,
Yeah. The battery
We all have
is-
fives, monitor fives, and I think
Yeah.
the newest up-to-date one is a 6, you know, but,
It seems like the batteries are almost as expensive as the
yeah, I mean, you start buying.
But so yeah, then we've got, so we'll take care of those out of the, we have enough in that tobacco tax money to take care of those, not impacting the general fund budget.
I don't think we need it, I mean, I would burn it all on him, I'd get maybe 3 or 4, all we need, and see what goes from there.
That's kind of, yeah.
Great.
Our-
Anything
I'm thinking about in the station over there, we got to look around, we might build like a mezzanine against that back wall, put some stuff up, you know, we've got 14-foot sidewalls in there. Come out about 4 feet or so, maybe 12 feet long, but put some stuff that you gotta have, don't need it in the way and stuff like that. We might try to
Like
get
a
it.
staircase to get up there.
Oh, we got some ladders, but yeah, I was thinking a little stairway.
With a handrail.
Just kidding. Wouldn't think that.
No, they're firemen, they don't need.
Yeah, my follow the code went.
Yeah.
Put a pole, how about a pole?
There you go.
You can get up the pole at times. More power.
Yeah, I think it's only for the dismount.
It's,
There you go.
Anything else with the fire department? Hearing none, moving on to emergency management. Mr. Castle?
Well, that's my dad, I'm Terry. Well, I wanted to come here and meet you folks. I think we sent you a form that if you so desire to adopt, that I would be the emergency management director for folks here in Centralia also, but I don't blame you for not signing that until at least you got to meet me and see me face to face and ask me some questions and talk to me. So this is a great opportunity for me to get to come see you folks. So a little about me. I spent about 21 years at the Columbia Fire Department. I retired from there in 2014 as the assistant fire chief. After that, I was asked to be the Chief of Operations for the State Emergency Management Agency. I went there and spent a year, and then the Boone County Commissioners asked me if I would be the Emergency Management Director in Boone County, and I couldn't be happier that they asked me to do that. I know that no form of government is perfect, and neither is Boone County's, but if you really want to see messed up, head down the river to Jeff City, and you can really see things that are just really anti-productive, and I was really happy to get to come back to Boone County and work for you folks. The state of emergency management in Boone County is pretty much this. With the tax that you folks voted for, that 3/8 sales tax, they're building a new facility, which is located basically right by the Sheriff's Department there on 63. And Chad Martin, the 911 director, and I are supposed to be handed the keys from Little Dixie Construction on June 8th. That's the projected date. And we feel we're going to probably have 45 or 60 days of punch list after that. And then we'll start to do some move-in. So I'm thinking around the 1st of August, we'll start moving some folks into that building. And there, September 11th on Sunday, they're having a grand opening. So you folks I'm sure if you haven't already gotten an invitation to that, you should be getting an invitation to come to that. The Emergency Management Department is going to be made up of myself, the director, deputy director. His name's Tom Hurley. He actually came to us from Eau Claire, Wisconsin, but he's a Boone County native. He grew up down at Ashland. He was a firefighter for Boone County Fire, and then went to Eau Claire and spent 5 years up there as their director at Eau Claire County, Wisconsin. We have an administrative coordinator / grant specialist. Her name's Della Luster, and she lives over at Sturgeon. We just hired a training and exercise specialist. She lives in Jefferson City. I stole her from SEMA. They call me the poacher. They deactivated my badge. I can't go in there anymore. She's actually moving to Columbia next month.
There's some nice places here in Centralia.
But I told her she should not look in the city. She should look around other places. 'Cause,
Yeah.
that'd be my preference for sure. But anyway, we got a couple other positions that we've got pending and open: a planning and preparedness specialist and a mitigation and recovery specialist. So a couple of things that we've done since we've been seated is our grant specialist found us an MPG grant. That's an emergency preparedness grant that helps pay for half of my salary, half the deputy director's salary, and half of the administrative coordinator's salary. So that's a big boost right off the beginning. And she's also put us in for a mitigation grant. And one of the things I had an idea for was, having worked 20 years at Columbia Fire Department, every time we get a 2-inch rain, we have these certain roads around the county that every time they have to be closed. So county folks go out and city folks go out and put up these barricades, and then our fine, upstanding citizens drive around the barricades and into the water. And then they dial 911 when their car quits, and then we have to put firefighters and EMS folks at risk to go there and help these folks. So I go out west a lot, camping and hunting, and I see on Interstate 70, they closed Interstate 70. And how they do it, they just close the ramp, and they got these gates that just close. So it's my idea to put those sort of gates in at these repeat offenders on both sides, so that a sheriff's deputy or someone from Public Works could just swing the gates closed and lock it. And then I told the commissioners I'd like for them to talk to the legal department and make it a $5,000 fine if you touch one. Now, I don't know that that'll happen, but we hope to cut down on some of that deal, and we're putting in for a mitigation grant. So that mitigates an emergency before it happens. And then there's some other things we want to look into. So those are some of the opportunities we're looking for. And if you would have any questions for me, I'd be glad to try to answer them, or I'll get the answer if I don't have it myself.
Well, I just appreciate you coming up here, doing those. I don't know how you got here, because weren't you at
Hallsville started their meeting about 10 till, and we recognized a couple of Eagle Scouts and some wrestling champions there, and then I was next, and didn't have a lot of questions, so I shot right up here. It was a piece of cake. I'm glad that we coordinated this. Actually, next Monday night I have Harrisburg and Roachport, so doing 2 meetings in a night are normally pretty good. And it's my plan to do this once a year, not just to get this form done, but we should come here and see you folks. And of course, you can call us anytime, and we'll come to a meeting if you ask us to, or you can come down there. But I think we should see each other face to face once a year. You're paying the bills. You're the boss. And if you have a question, and you should get an update on what's going on with emergency management, and if you have any questions or concerns, you should feel free to bring those forward anytime. But I think we should see each other once a year so that you can say, I'm glad you're doing a good job, or I want you to do something different. I mean, I work for you folks, so.
Well, we actually appointed you on November 15th.
Oh, all right. I've been on the job a while.
As of December 1st. So yeah, and so we took care of that at a meeting.
No problem.
And it wasn't like I wanted to make sure we met you. I'm just so cheap that I thought I could save a stamp. and
You know
scan
what?
you.
I don't blame you at all. But I can tell you, you shouldn't appoint anybody unless you meet them. Really, you should see if that's who you want to represent you. I'll do my best. We've got a lot of training and exercise things coming along, some active shooter things. We had a meeting about that today. Tomorrow is the statewide tornado drill, so you'll probably hear the sirens go off. And the sirens is something that I do want to visit with you folks about. I know that you maintain and take care of your own sirens. I personally believe that you're paying that tax. Boone County we should pay the maintenance on your sirens. That's part of it. We're paying for everybody else's, why shouldn't we pay for yours?
We'd be happy to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
And so I talked to the siren folks today. Actually, we had Blue Valley come in because I needed to be educated about sirens. I didn't know where we are as a community. Are we where we need to be with sirens? Do we need 25 more, or do we need 4 more? And what does I didn't know if a siren cost $2,000 or $200,000. I had no idea. So they came in and made a proposal to us about where they think we are. And of course, we're behind. As you could expect, a vendor is always going to tell you that you're behind. And not that I don't trust them, but you know, if you're going to give them money, they're ready to take it. So
first they write a standard.
Yes.
And then they say.
And I don't disagree with our standard. And we've got some sirens in this community. You probably read it on the newspaper and saw it on news, and so that unfortunately had to see me on the news that one of them malfunctioned in Columbia out by Gerbs out on Ash and Walnut, or Ash and Broadway last week, and it just hung itself on by, we think it was a power surge, we're not sure, but it was one of those older sirens that just got a power surge, and it was on for 30 minutes until we physically turned the switch off, and it happened at midnight, of course. It couldn't happen at 2 in the afternoon when people are at work and school. It has to happen when people are in bed. So folks were not all that happy about that, and I don't blame them. But I think we need to talk about, we should take care of those for you guys. And as far as activation goes, I know you have your own dispatching and you activate your own. Blue Valley said that there's a piece of hardware or software somewhere that we can have where if we could, either one of us, either 911 down there could flip the switch and turn them on here, or you can turn them on, and both. It doesn't have to be one or the other, it can be both of us. So, you know, you folks talk about that, but you know, they told me that it ends up being like I don't remember the exact cost of what it is for a siren per year, but again, my opinion is you're paying tax just like the people in Ashland and Columbia and everywhere else, and we're paying for the sirens to be maintained in their communities. You should get yours maintained also. That should be underneath that contract. That we have a contract with Blue Valley, and yours should be there also. So, and it's not going to make you rich, but you might buy another pager for the fire chief or something. I mean, that's, you know, every dollar counts these days.
Yeah.
So we want to, you folks talk about that and how you want to do it, but we just redid our contract with Blue Valley, but and I don't know if you're doing a monthly, we do a monthly charge is how we do it, and we pay them by the month, but we could absorb, there's no reason we shouldn't absorb that.
Okay.
I just think that's a fair thing to do. So,
That's
anything
a
else?
good way to come into town, say.
Yes, definitely.
Well, it's just a fair thing to do, Matt. I mean, it's, you know, again, you pay the same taxes. When you spend $1.03 goes to that 911 emergency management program, why shouldn't you get the same benefits that everyone else in the county gets? That's just, that's the way it should be. And I work for all of you, not just the ones in Columbia or the ones in somewhere else. I work for everybody in Boone County. So if I lived here, I'd want 911 to pay for them.
Well, thank you for that.
No problem.
Yeah.
We'll get together on the nuts and bolts about how to figure that out. Okay.
Any questions?
So on the Ides of March, during the election, we'll fire up the sirens.
Yeah, you know, I got that phone call from Wendy, and she was not real happy with me. And I told her that I don't pick today. The State Emergency Management doesn't even pick today. The National Weather Service picks today for
Right.
the state tornado drill. We're just trying to be in coordination with everyone. You know, I think there's probably a 40% chance tomorrow we won't set them off. Because if there's some thunderstorms anywhere in the state, they'll probably cancel this thing, and we'll pick the 17th, and we'll do it that day. So it'll be what it'll be. You know, she was all wound up. I finally had to say, Wendy, they blow for 3 minutes. I don't think it's going to be the end of the world, and she's afraid people are not going to show up and vote. And that's her concern. That's her business. I have a different opinion. But,
Yeah.
okay.
On that.
Excuse me.
I said, I think they won't show up for other reasons.
Well, yeah, you and I are on the same page there.
Yeah.
Terry, very much appreciate you coming by.
Not a problem. Anytime. Let me know if you need anything. Why don't I leave a card, and that way you have a way to get a hold of me. And again, you know, don't wait or be bashful about calling me if you need something. Get a hold of us. Again, we work for you, and we want to be here to help you any way we can. I can tell you that there's some training things going on that we're going to be involved in, some active shooter things that's coming up later this fall, that sort of thing. Oh, another thing we purchased, and it's going to help everybody in the county, is a system called Rave, and it's an electronic notification system. And we're in the process of doing the purchase orders now. Rave will be a system that we can, that you as citizens will go on the website and you will subscribe to Rave for free. And it'll sort of be like a restaurant menu. You'll pick what you'd like to be notified on. So if this gentleman here wants to know about everything, he can get active shooter, and he can get weather alerts and schools locked down, anything he wants. If this gentleman over here says, I only want to know when it's a tornado warning or a weather storm warning, that's what he'll get. And it will be on your smartphone, it'll be on your tablets, your PCs at home, and even your landlines, what I understand. So if we have, you know, my grandma and grandpa who might be sitting out here on a farm somewhere that don't have a computer and are not going to get one, if they want to put it on their landline, they can do that. So the good thing about this is people get to subscribe to it. Another really neat thing about it is if one of you get in your airplane, or a airplane, not maybe yours, but an airplane and fly to Dallas, Texas, if Dallas, Texas has Rave, it follows you to Rave. It follows you there. It knows, of course, knows where our phones are. So in the middle of the night, if there's a thunderstorm warning in Dallas, Texas, you'll get an alert there that there's a storm in that area. Another really good thing that the city departments would be able to use with this is that if they want to notify their employees, we're closing the offices today because of 27 inches of snow, or need to come in an hour early because of this or something. They'll be able to build groups within the city. Will be able to build groups, like say the Parks Department, Public Works will be able to build a group with all their employees, and if they want the motor graders drivers to come in at 7 in the morning instead of 8, they can send them a text at 9 o'clock at night. They'll get that alert to come in at 7 because of the impending snow or whatever's going on. And for some of those bigger departments, especially, city fire and city public works, Boone County Public Works, that's going to be a big deal for those folks to be able to alert all their employees at once rather than going in and calling each one at a time and doing a phone tree. So that's going to be coming along. You'll be seeing some advertisement about that, hopefully on television and radio. That's what we were promised by the vendor that they're going to come in and help us with. We may come to you folks if you send out an electric bill. I don't know, do you do your own electric here, or are you on Ameren? So you do your own. We may come to you folks with a flyer to send in a utility bill or a water bill or a sewer bill, so that everyone would get a copy of that. So we're going to try to get this thing out in 2 or 3 different ways, so everybody gets a chance to look at it and subscribe that wants to subscribe. University of Missouri's subscribing and buying this same system. Boone County happens to be what they call a Charter 50 customer. We were one of the first 50 customers that this rave company had back in the day when they started. So we got to buy this thing for $24,000, which is less than 50 cents on the dollar, what it would cost us normally. So we got a really good deal on this. Stevens College and Columbia College are already users of this program, so basically the entire community is going to be set up. The schools would be able to do something, now I'm going to talk about stuff I don't know anything about, called geo-fencing. So they can go in and say that we're going to say 1,000 feet from Centralia's high school. They put up a geo-fence, and if inside that, anywhere within that 1,000 feet or 2,000 feet or a half mile, whatever you want to put in, if there's an armed robbery, if there's shots fired, if there's any sort of crime, the folks at the school would be notified, and they could lock down the school maybe before they would get notified through dispatch and 911 and those sorts of things. So we think this is going to be a good service for everyone to use. So we have purchased that. Yes, sir?
I currently subscribe to a Boone County Emergency Management Agency that sends text messages.
Yeah,
at
it's called
8.
Nixle. That's a Nixle service is what that's
Is it
called.
gonna go
It will
away?
replace that. It will replace Nixle. Nixle it's a good service. It's just limited. And the university, if you haven't heard, but the university is having real problems with their notification system. Like, not this past weekend, but the weekend before when you heard on the news that they had a sexual assault and a possible rape on the deal. I get the same things through them. Those happened at like 3:30 in the morning. I got that at 1:22 in the afternoon. That's not an alerting system. I told I was with the Columbia City Fire Chief, Randy White, and I said to Randy, I said, there are people in Indonesia that knew about this on Facebook before we got it, Randy.
Yeah.
That's not a warning system. That's not an alerting system. So the university is really not satisfied with, they have 2 or 3 different, Blackboard, they have 2 or 3 different ones. So they're going to rave also. They're the only school actually right now in the SEC that doesn't have rave. So. I have taken way more time than I wanted to. But I wanted you to know about that. So let me know, and let's, we'll get together and work on this siren thing. Yeah, I'll help you out on that if we can. Thanks.
Thank you.
See you later.
Take care.
Moving on to protective inspection.
Still doing well.
Just, was wondering about the building there right south of D&D Tire. Used to be the old church.
Yeah.
Kind of was walking by there the other day, and it looks like it's actually sinking and falling.
Yeah, no, it's on,
And,
that particular property is a bit of an issue. There's a problem with the ownership.
right.
Are you aware of the
Yeah, it used to
complicated
belong to
ownership
a
issue?
church that
Went to bankrupt. There's
yeah.
3 people that are listed as being in the corporation that owns it. One lives here in town, but he's the vice president, are reluctant to do anything with it. But there's several. There's
Yeah,
a house on.
Yeah, the house right across the street from it on the south street. It's,
Well, I was talking about one that was brought up last week on
yeah,
Bar Street. 320 Bar.
Barn.
Yeah.
So I need to get out there. I need to write some letters. I need to
okay.
do some. They have to have specific observations of specific things that make it a dangerous building before you can move forward on them.
Okay. Well, I noticed that the door was hanging open and free access into the house.
Okay, well, that's relative.
Yeah.
I looked at it about a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thanks.
Anything else on the protective inspection? Moving on to general government and finance, economic development, there are meeting minutes from Creddy as well as from the chamber. I'm curious, without divulging anything that might be private, how did the investigation go? Did anyone here attend it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It was, involved. Okay.
My understanding is that there are still people pursuing.
Okay.
That,
It's not that, it's really beyond our hands at this point. It's not that we can't, the chamber, the city, Creddy aren't willing to help facilitate still, but it's really kind of enhances the, people who might be interested in investing, to see where they want to go.
Sure.
But there were some people there that were definitely
Very
interested.
Yeah.
Excellent.
How many people attended that meeting?
20, 15, 20?
Thank you.
Anything else on economic development? Okay. Moving on, park board, pool improvements update.
We are moving forward with the project. Boone County is still working on reviewing the plans. I got a call from James at Boone County Resource Management. He had some questions he had for Jerry Doherty. In the interim, since Boone County will not inspect without the plans done, and there will come a time when the project will stop if the plans aren't fully approved. But to pour the footers, we are using engineering surveys and services to do the building inspections. They will do reports and hand them off to Boone County Resource Management. But we're not gonna do the whole project that way. The park board has had an aggressive schedule that they wanted to move forward. And so, without having had the plans before the financing, to get it open in time, this is the strategy we're taking.
So they want to get open by May.
So
The goal was to get it open by Memorial Day.
the county hasn't given, a partial approval on the plans at all yet?
I would say that's accurate.
Do they have a reason for not doing so?
Well, to be fair to their office, it was a week ago that they got the plan. No, it's 14. Yeah, I believe it was a week ago that they got the plans.
Oh,
So the plans were delivered in March when they should have been, in a perfect universe, January would have been a good time to get them done, but,
okay.
so,
Is there an additional charge to have engineering surveys and services?
if there is.
What might that be?
I don't know exactly, but if you recall, we had a similar situation with the actual pool project with, it was, Septagon that did that's not right. But there was a firm that did the inspection there as well, and that cost, I think, about $250, but it was just to make sure that all the steel was properly bonded so that in case of a crack in the concrete that you wouldn't get water touching bare metal, coming in contact with electricity, which would be very bad in a swimming pool. So, it's not the best way to move forward, but we have a very aggressive schedule from the park board. They are going to meet tomorrow at noon, at the same time as the chamber. I'm probably not going to be in both places at the same time, but if you'd like, I could send, if you guys share my concern, I'm more than willing to share that. I have told them that was not the best plan.
If you can't be at both places at the same time, we might have to downgrade you on the evaluation.
So be it.
That is kind of
certain things I have control over, there are other things that I don't.
Yeah. Don't you have a stunt double or something like that?
Not yet, not that I'm
Okay.
aware of.
Okay.
No doppelganger out there.
All right.
Park budget, see the information's in your packet as well.
And then I just sharing that information, they are at a balanced budget, and the sales tax, they were very conservative in budgeting last year. Well, they were very conservative in budgeting their expenses. We've seen the sales tax grow. It grew a lot last year and kind of leveled off this year. We may not, depending on it. March last year was huge. If we have another huge March like we did last year, we're going to be fine. Where we were, we're about the same place on sales tax as we were last year, but if we don't have, it's hard to predict that last month. It is the month when the retailers that only report quarterly report their Christmas sales. So it's, because of our fiscal year ends in March, it's a bit of a guess.
Sure.
So, but it's a good solid budget, and they're reducing the amount of the transfers that they are. The pool is. It's never. I don't know if it's ever going to be self-sufficient, but it's getting a lot closer. They've actually done a good job. One thing that you'll notice that there's no expenditures for. They're taking putting all the concessions in the pool, all the expenses revenue in the pool. In past years, they will run down the hill, run over the pool, grab concessions out of there, and sell them at the park concessions, and they keep an overall inventory. But one way to make it clearer is just put all the track all the finances as though it were taking place in the pool. Just that way.
Anything else on the budget to discuss? Moving on, cemetery report. I believe we have one. Same with tree board.
They've set their.
I will say that the April 1st, Friday, is the Arbor Day this year, and the fourth grade class is planning an Arbor Day event at the school. So I'm going to be there to read my proclamation, plant some trees with the fourth graders.
Excellent.
Yeah. And John Cockowitz is kind of taking the lead on that as usual, and very good program. So welcome to attend if you're in town that day.
Moving on, library board. Meeting agenda.
I spent a little time with Leah Hoot, their acting director. By the way, they've announced the name of the guy that they.
Yes, they have.
Yes.
Yeah.
I met him Tuesday night.
Yeah. I'll see if maybe they can bring him around after. He won't be full time. He won't be really working until May. He's getting a graduate. Do you remember his name, James?
No, I don't.
Do you?
Got
Yeah.
a picture.
Yeah, a young man finishing a master's in library
Yes.
science at the University of Missouri. Looking very exciting. He has been tainted by the Daniel Boone Regional District. I'm kidding, but we'll try and teach him the beauties of a independent.
Is it Jack Meyer?
Yes,
Sorry?
that's something.
Jack Meyer, I think so.
Yeah. So he's they're very excited about bringing him on board.
Excellent.
Is he from around here?
I don't remember where he's from.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
We'll get all the answers to those questions, and we'll be
Okay.
forthcoming.
Forthcoming.
Yes. We'll make him do the like Terry Castle. Real him with.
February 2016 financial statements. In your packet.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Thought maybe I forgot to change them. It is February because it's not. Man, it's March. I got the wrong one.
Yeah, no, you're good.
earlier in the year, I thought we were going to just continue a nice upward. If you look at page, look at the right page where the sales tax is on page 45 of the 94. Property tax is doing very nicely. And that, by the way, that's true both within and without the library district. So the library district is the majority of the increases in property tax have taken place within the area that's the library district. So that's good news, at least for the fiscal year, for the taxes levied in 2015, paid usually and recorded in 2016. But down on line 520, we're actually just about where we were last year, but we had a huge month in March, and if we don't get a huge month, it would be it would be difficult to hit budget, let alone beat last year. And that's a huge impact on our budget. So, all right. There are some projects that may bring in more sales tax or in the development stages, but then hit late in the year. Okay.
Anything else on the financials? Moving on to bills over $1,250. Information's in your packet. Looks like page 92, 91, sorry. Questions? On to general government budget request.
In your packet there is a draft of the budget. There'll be more updates soon. The utility numbers are pretty darn close. I noticed that there were some glitches in the copying and pasting in some of the sections. I have to just repaste them in. It's based on one spreadsheet, and so if it skips one, anyway, I won't go into the details, but so it will be. I need to fix that and get that back to you guys. I will send it midweek.
Okay.
And then we'll have, of course, have a final version. It's tight in the general fund in particular. I think I mentioned last week we're looking at a 2.5% increase. I'm going to hand you out I had first discussion with union for the represented employees. Whatever we do, we're not going to do something separate. We never have, never will do something separate really for the union, the represented versus non-represented employees.
Revised fireworks ordinance. Got a memo from Matt in the packet.
What is the upshot of the fireworks ordinance?
There was a request to relax our ordinances.
Yes.
So-
Yeah, I'm up to speed there, but is there some new and improved?
Well, if we're going to draft an ordinance, I need to know what the pleasure of the board is in terms of, I handed out 4 different copies. What I what I'm proposing is in the far right column. If there's something that you don't like, then let me know now. I made it somewhat liberal. We didn't talk about December. I figured that would cause, I wanted to put something in there that would at least, that I'd get some feedback on that we didn't necessarily talk about. We didn't talk about one way or the other, but several cities allow for the sale and discharge of fireworks around New Year's as well. This is based on sort of a consensus of the ordinances. Right. One thing that I really do, the special permit for set fireworks and a version of a permit very much like what Forestell uses, Crystal City uses, is included in the packet. As I was saying before the meeting, cities Platte City, Crystal City, Forestell, some of the ones that responded when I sent out a request to the Missouri Municipal League, or the Missouri City Managers list. Platte City charges $1,500 for a permit. They, and all these cities have had people put up stands. And they charge an additional $1,500 permit and $1,000 for a deposit to make sure they don't leave a mess at their site. I didn't ask them actually. What causes them to release to not return the deposit.
Yeah.
Crystal, I'm sorry.
What does the city, or the county require? Do they have anything like that?
Didn't ask. I will try.
Because I'm not so concerned about what other cities do as what the county does. I mean, there's no point in us changing it. If we put a requirement in there that's much worse than what the county requires, you're just gonna stay at the county.
Right.
Sorry.
What was the thinking, if I could, what's the thinking about the December thing?
A lot of folks like to shoot out fireworks for New Year's Eve. I assume that's what the December
Right.
date.
The only time that you would be allowed to actually discharge the fireworks was the half hour at
Midday.
midnight. Yeah, basically.
I thought we were just talking about changing it to allow the sale of
Yeah, that's what I thought
Right.
too.
Right, I don't see us changing any of the restrictions on what you can shoot inside the city limits.
Right. That's what I
Well, I thought from the discussion was, changing the law to fit how we enforce it more, but that's okay.
I mean, we don't allow bottle rockets now, they just, you
Yeah,
can't sell them inside, the city limits.
Right. You just can't
We don't
shoot
wanna
them
ban
off.
the sale of them, because then they're not gonna have a stand inside the city limits. But we,
You can allow them to sell something inside the city limits that they can't.
yes, and require them to post a sign saying what's not
Yes.
allowed.
Yes.
I'm telling you, if there's ever a time we have to put a grease cert on that telephone to keep it from burning up over there, it's fireworks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you right now, that is gonna be a nightmare to open that up from June 20th to July 4th.
That's just a sale of them, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just for.
That's not to shoot them, that's just to
That's
sell
just for the
them.
sale.
That's just to sell
Yeah.
them, that's not to shoot them all.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, and the sale would also be allowed then 12/20 through 12/31.
Yes.
Right,
And that's
If you
just the
guys,
sale of them.
that's just the sale. The firing, if you guys want to add that, I mean, that's why we're having the discussion.
Yeah.
The December one seems odd to me.
Nobody's gonna open a fireworks stand for the month of December. As cold as it is.
Yeah, we're gonna set up there.
no, but people do shoot at that point, but no, I don't see us
Yeah, but that's
allowing
not
them
for-
to open at that point.
Well, that wouldn't say that somebody couldn't have a fireworks booth in the flea market.
Yeah.
if
Sure.
they can get properly licensed, I wish I doubt they could in the flea market.
Well, I agree. And there were, I read one ordinance too that made exception for non-for-profit organizations that were going to. I'm not saying we should or shouldn't, but I'm just saying that.
And no more than 5 permits, was that?
Yep.
That's what's in, that's, yeah, that was what I heard.
5 per season.
The sale doesn't bother me at all, but I don't think we ought to go to tinkering with that when we
Yeah.
allow the use of fireworks.
Well, I agree, I mean, I
Yeah.
think we leave those ordinances in place. We allow the sale of it so we can collect the sales tax if they want to do it inside city limits.
Water.
Right.
But I do think it should be posted at that point, you know, this is what you can't shoot inside the city limits.
I don't think we ought to tinker with existing with respect to when
Right.
fireworks are allowed. That's just a nightmare in my place, just a nightmare.
Yeah, I'd like to add that if they're selling something that they can't set off,
Yeah.
that you post
Needs
it.
to
I
be
agree with
labeled.
that.
Yeah.
I would think you have to change the signage rules to say that although this is legal for sale, it is not legal for use
Within the city limits.
within the city. Yes,
Within the
yes,
city limits.
Yes, and that's what I would like to see posted out there, is that, you know, what is not legal to shoot inside the city
Right.
limits, so that they know.
Yeah, you take it out.
I mean,
to your
that should
phone,
be a
town.
requirement for them to post that.
Mhm.
That, I don't think that that's too onerous a requirement, you know, for them to do so.
Now, if they don't sell any of those things that make that list, I don't think they should have to do this.
Then they're not gonna have
I would
fireworks.
agree, but you're not gonna have fireworks stand.
You might as well not set one up.
Right.
You're not gonna
Might
sell
not
it.
set one up.
Right.
Most of them give away.
Snakes and sparklers?
So, bringing up the fireworks deal, is Darren Evans gonna be able to do his little display out there at his little cobblestone estate?
It's,
Is it in the city?
Yes.
Yes.
My
Last year, he shut down the whole street, the whole subdivision, and they hired a company like we did for the 4th.
But if that is, if they're doing it, I'm not waving anybody's banner. Yes, the police department phone and my cell phone just blew apart. If they're lighting that outside of that city limit, tonight,
Yeah.
unless you,
Unless they get a special permit for it. I don't know.
well, we can't regulate anything outside the city. I was gonna say you
No.
can put
Right.
a shoreline thing, you know, with so much of the, you know, so much of the city limit, but we can't enforce if it's a foot out.
Yeah.
On the other hand, they can't do that without permission of the landowners.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
it's a-
I doubt that they have that.
And they
it's a
can't,
big
an
deal out there.
individual cannot shut down the street. They
Right.
have to get permission
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
the fire, from the police chief, or the mayor, or the mayor.
It's a, well, and if it's outside the city limits, what can I do about it?
That,
But see, it's not.
it's in the
See,
city
the
limits.
cobblestone's in the city
Cobblestone's
limits.
in the city limits.
Yes, all of it,
All of
to
it.
my knowledge,
Yes.
All of it.
all of it.
Well, we see, we already regulate the type of fireworks, I mean, the Class C or consumer fireworks is
Yeah.
a new language. That
Some of this
doesn't
is state
include-
regulated too, they're supposed to have a
Yes.
fire marshal approved,
Mhm.
and Boone County could not get around that.
But what I'm saying is if you're gonna have people sell fireworks in town and then somebody hires somebody that shoots our stuff up in the air, what's that gonna do to your people that sell it?
Now, maybe, you might be on something there, Kim.
Yeah.
Matt, is there a way, then, and I believe every word of that, is there a way that you can incorporate into this new ordinance? No commercial fireworks can be contracted within the city?
We've already got that. There's, the only thing that are allowed, well, what our ordinance right now allows is what's known as, used to be known as Class C fireworks.
Yes.
There's a new definition of them with a different code and everything, but, it's essentially the same thing. Any display fireworks require a permit, can only be allowed for this board, and they have to go through, they have to have by resolution with a permit issued by me, and they have to have proof that they have somebody who's
Yes,
got fire marshal.
that is my understanding, too, yes.
And we've always, the only one that's ever been allowed properly is our own fire department doing the July 4th.
During the July 4th.
Right.
Right.
So
We did love doing that.
I don't know that we need to change anything there.
Okay.
I think that's,
If there's teeth in it, then let's keep it.
yeah. The feedback I'm understanding is no change in the use. Allow for the sale between June 20th and state law allows it to go to July 10th. But if you want the full leniency, or I was thinking you guys were, what I had heard was to close it off by, for the sale also, by July 1st.
July first?
I mean, July 4th.
Fifth.
Fifth.
I think
No,
it's,
5th.
I think
Well-
it's fifth or sixth, because that allows some clearance sale stuff to go on, clearance sale, and they don't have to pack up as much
My
stuff.
suspicion is,
Stuff like
if we
that.
don't allow it for what the state law allows,
Yeah,
and the county currently allows, then there's no point in doing anything.
What's the county go to 10?
So whatever the
State-
county goes
state
to
goes
is
to
what
10.
I would say
State
is what
goes
we
to
want to
10.
go to.
Then you might as well go to the 10,
that's what I'm thinking,
so everybody can clearance them down after
yeah.
4.
Right. Because I don't see any point in changing it if we're not going to match what the county does.
Nope.
Yeah.
I heard last time. Okay, July 10th.
You're writing too quick, you gotta let us digest this before you write it. You're just gonna have to erase it.
That's why we're doing this today.
All right.
And then, do we want to allow the use on the Saturday after July 4th, or do we want it when it's if the July 4th is on a
Friday.
Thursday or Friday, do we want to allow the
Display.
following Saturday as well? That's sort of based on there's another city that allows the discharge on the Saturday after if July follows.
Does our current ordinance allow that?
It does not.
Then I would say just leave it alone. I mean, to me, the purpose of this is to be able to capture sales tax if somebody wants to
Yeah.
put it inside the city limits.
And the license already says July 10th on it. So. License period June 20th to July 10th.
Right.
December 20th to July 2nd, or January 2nd.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean the state. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
The
okay.
license.
That's the draft. That's
Yeah, yeah,
so we would just of course the permit would fit the.
yeah.
That's how, that is, the only thing that I changed there was our logo. I took the Crystal City logo off and put ours on there
Okay.
essentially.
Very good.
And I changed the address. And the fee, and does a $500 fee sound okay? It's cheaper than most of the other cities. I'll check with Boone County.
I would check with Boone County. I mean, like I say, if we put in much more requirements and we make the fee a lot higher than what Boone County is, there's no incentive for them to move inside the city limits when they've already got places that they can do it outside the city limits.
Yeah.
I would want to encourage them to do it inside the city limits if we wanted to capture the sales tax off.
Right. Right. What can we do?
Anything else?
Say a deposit?
One city does. I didn't put that in. I don't know that I want to mess with that.
No, because they're gonna have to rent the property, that's what be putting them in the property.
Anything else on fireworks?
As long as their standards are as good as ours.
I can't imagine that they would. I'm sure they require business hours.
Yeah.
So, anything for what? Anything for-
Fireworks discussion.
Oh, no, this was just a side discussion.
Okay, all right. Any other?
In terms of the closed meeting, as my understanding is at the beginning, I would go back with you and talk about just generally the promoting, et cetera, hiring, firing, promoting, wages for next year, and then you'll kick me out and
Yes,
talk
you
about
will.
using kind of staff.
I need someone to make a motion, do I need to go to close session?
In a second.
And I need for you, the person to recite the spiel.
Now, when you all go back, it's very important. These need to go in Donna's basket on her desk, not on her desk, but in the basket. That's very important. Can you do that, or is you?
All right,
Oh.
I'll make a motion.
Oh, no, see.
I'll make a motion that during, that the Board of Aldermen, go into closed session, and possibly hold a closed vote, for the purpose of such closed session and closed vote shall be as provided for under section 610.0213 of the revised statutes of Missouri for hiring, firing, disciplining, or promoting of particular employees by a governmental body.
I have a motion to hear a second.
Second.
I have a motion, a second. Do we need to,
Roll call.
roll call, yeah. Alderman Magwood,
Yeah.
Alderman Ward,
Yes.
Alderman Laura,
Yep.
Alderman Foreman,
Yes.
Alderman Lee. We have a unanimous vote. Can you vote on these two?
Yeah.
That's okay.
And your vote was yes? I assume?
Yes.
Welcome.
We shall return. Thank you.